Hello, book flippers. On average, textbooks are by far the most profitable types of used books you're going to want to flip when selling on Amazon. And finding the best textbooks isn't always as easy as we would all like. For every textbook that you find that has a keep a chart looking like this, there's countless others that just don't live up to that same standard. And they look like this. Now, wouldn't it be great if you could just bypass looking at all those keeper charts that just don't have that textbook bump? And what if I told you you could get your hands on a list of over 2,000 textbooks that are geared up and had a textbook bump last year in preparation for this year, the summer of 2026 textbook season? A list like that would put you by far in a category of book flippers that no one has ever seen before, because you're going to have data that has never been available to anyone ever, despite using arbitrage software like ours. So inside Master Book Flipper software, we've got all kinds of metrics, supply and demand. We have really good metrics that are going to weed out a lot of crap. However, our software and no other software is able to clearly identify when we get those bumps from a previous year. This is something that has to be done manually. When I say manually, I mean looking at the keeper charts. We can get a good idea looking at data that we have in our system, but there is absolutely no substitute for looking at it with the human eye. The challenge, of course, is that you likely don't have time to review literally tens of thousands of textbooks specifically to find which ones actually had the bump last year, which is a fantastic indicator as to how it might be performing this year. Our team has spent hundreds of hours, literally hundreds of hours, which I'm sure you do not have the time to do what we did, to look and see and identify the textbook bump after reviewing tens of thousands of keeper charts with human eyes. Okay, pretty fantastic stuff. All right, now let's talk about the market dynamics regarding textbooks and referencing the keeper chart. If you've watched some of my videos, when I talk about looking at the keeper chart to evaluate a book, and with textbooks and July textbooks specifically, I've told you that you should have the keeper chart set to a year. Why do we want to do that? Because we want to reference and look what happened 1 year ago during the same textbook season. And what you will find on some books is where we see not only did the demand go up, which is the green line, the sales rank, we see it dipping down. We also can find books where the lowest used price went up, okay? And that's the bump that we're looking for and what we desire. All right, let's jump in and take a look. All right, so this is actually the software that you would get. And basically, we've got two tabs at the top, tables. ASINs, this is where all the books are going to be. And then we've got data field definitions. And that's something that we use within Master Book Flippers. I'm not going to go over it on this video. It's kind of self-explanatory. You're not going to get all the data fields that we normally get. And there's a good reason for that. And I'll talk about that in a minute. So if you hover over this, you see you have two views. You've got the review. So this is just like, hey, this is it. Take a look, use it however you like. And then we have the other view, copy to your base. And this is where you can copy all this data from here directly into your Master Book Flipper software. So entirely optional. But we're going to stick on this video basically to the review. So let me go over the data fields that we supply you with. So obviously we have the ASIN, we've got the title, and then we've got a couple of buttons. Now the buttons are, really important to speed up your workflow. You're just going to click on Keepa and it's going to take you directly to the Keepa chart. And you'll notice that they will have textbook bumps, right? Where the the lowest used price has gone up during textbook season the previous year. And not to get into it too much, but one thing you might want to do is click on all here. And then you can zoom in and see what happened the previous year. So as I'm making this video for the summer 2026 textbook season, like I mentioned, we're going to want to look back and see, hey, was there a textbook bump last year in 2025, right? And you'll see, yes, that happened on this book, and that's what we want to focus in, at least for the data and on this quick video. All right, so you'll see that with all the books, and then you also want to click on Amazon. If you want to look at the prices on Amazon, you'll just click there. It'll instantly take you to the prices, right? So obviously, we're not going to be just buying books only because there's a textbook bump, right? We want to factor in other things. So like I've mentioned, this is a very specific list of books that we put through this this ton of manpower to get this. And so the focus really was on finding the textbook bumps. It wasn't really finding all the other data behind it because it's going to change all the time. So we pulled it on June 1st of 2026, and that's the data that you see in here, all right? You know, you think about it, if you go through 100 books a day, you know, in less than a few weeks, you could probably get through the entire list. And obviously, you're not going to buy them all. Some are going to be good, some are going to be very, very good, and some are going to be not so good that you probably don't want to consider. We've got, you know, the weight, and we do have a couple of the really good things for you guys. I like to source on eBay, right? Sometimes you're going to find books cheaper on eBay. Some people want to look at Book Finder, Biblio, Book Scouter. We've got those links. You just click it. You'll get right to those books without having to do anything further. We've got the binding, good for your prep center to know, or so you know what you're getting. And then we've got the publisher. I'm not going to go over the publisher, how you can do this. I have a whole other video that we added the publisher field, I don't know, a few years ago now, but really effective. If you're worried about being restricted on certain books, and you know, for example, you can't source McGraw-Hill, and by the way, you know, maybe you can on some books, but there could be other titles that are McGraw-Hill that you could sell. But regardless, you can filter that out. I'm not going to go into the filtering on this video. And by the way, you will get a separate training on how to use it, how to filter and all that stuff. We've got a lot of good stuff. So as far as the filtering, you could filter out those books if you wanted to, and you could filter out any publishers, a group of publishers, whatever you want to do. And then we also have the flip type in there. We just put, this is the textbook profit surge. For those of you that are using master book flippers, you can import these books into your software, and that is the flip type that will appear so that you can use it in other ways and filter it by textbook profit surge if that's what you want to do. All right, so pretty straightforward. Again, highly effective because this has taken us an absolute ton of time to come up with, but I think once you see this, for those of you that take action, you are going to love it. Okay, let's talk about next steps, and I want to be entirely clear as to how this works. This is a standalone seasonal product that you would be purchasing. You do not need to be part of Master Book Flippers. You don't need to be a subscriber. You don't need to have used Master Book Repricer or anything like that. You can just purchase this list and you will get it on your own. However, if you are a Master Book Flipper subscriber, this product will work seamlessly. You can import all the books into your software, use the listing and shipping, figure out the profit and ROI, figure out the break-even price, all that good stuff. Now, this is our inaugural season doing this, right? We've never done this before. So I honestly actually wanted to get this out sooner for reasons I can't really go into. Didn't get it out as quickly as I would like. That sometimes happens in business. But anyway, so I'm going to give you guys a tremendous discount. It will be in the link below. So just look in the description below and you will find a tremendous discount for anybody watching this video. That being said, you're going to get an additional 15% off if you are a Master Book Flipper subscriber. Okay, so if you try the software, you're going to get a different coupon code available to you, and that will be emailed to you. And if you didn't get it or whatever, just send us a message and we will get that out to you right away. Now, one more thing. Can we try this for free? Well, obviously we can't hand you, a list of over 2,000. And by the way, it's actually over 2,300. I don't have the exact number. That's how many we have in here. But we're obviously not going to hand you the list and let you look at it. However, you can get 20 free ASINs, and that'll just come if you can get them for free. Just sign up for Master Book Flippers, which is also free. You get a 14-day free trial. We'll send those out to you right away. There's another option here which you may not realize, right? So, there's a textbook season. When we say textbook season, I look at it as two different ways. There's a buying season and there's a selling season. And I created a whole video about that. Maybe I'll put the link below. However, you can extend the buying season by doing what? By, instead of selling FBA, you can sell FBM. And I know a lot of people are trying that out. So this might be something you really want to look at and consider to do. If you're going to make an investment in purchasing this list, that could be an option for you. Instead of sending your books to FBA, and maybe you're concerned you don't have enough time, and different books have different textbook patterns. Some will sell very strong, way into September, while others might have a narrow band where, maybe they're going only into maybe the late August, something like that, right? And if you're worrying about getting the books to Amazon and having them fulfill it FBA in a timely fashion, maybe you just sell it by FBM, and of course you're not going to pay the fees. And that's not something I necessarily teach, but tons of information out there on how to do it. It's not very difficult. In fact, one could argue that it's actually easier than doing FBA. Just keep that in mind. That's definitely another option to consider if you want to maximize your return on this investment. So you can see really how valuable this is. It's going to, I could probably have charged thousands of dollars for this, but I wanted to make it affordable. I probably should have got it out sooner. So so I think I priced it accordingly on the value. If you take action, of course, that's really the key, and we want you to do that. If you take action, you're going to see that this is going to be a tremendous value, and you just can't do this on your own. There's no way that, I don't think, unless you've been doing this for a very, very long time, every single day, looking at hundreds and hundreds of Keep It charts and keeping track and all that stuff, you can't get this list anywhere else. So again, inaugural season, we'll put a discount code in the description below. So this is going to be a limited time offer. This is, again, a seasonal product. I wanted to get this video out to you guys quickly, so I don't have an exact date, but we are going to pull it where it's simply, we're not going to put this into September. You're not going to buy this list well into September of 2026. It's going to be too late at that point, obviously. So, but if you click on the link inside the description here, you can get on our list for next season, so we can inform you, and you can be, first in line and know when we're going to have that list available for the January 2027 textbook season, right? And of course, that might become in probably October of 2026, something like that. Okay, that's it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next video.